Have you ever wanted to do something important, but somehow couldn't make yourself start? Most people have a simple explanation. They call it laziness. And after hearing that word enough times, you may start believing it yourself. You know what needs to be done. You even want the results. So why do you still feel stuck? What if laziness isn't the real problem at all? Here's something strange. Sometimes the task isn't actually difficult, yet it still feels impossible to start. That's because your brain isn't always measuring effort. Often it's measuring emotion. What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? Avoiding the task can temporarily remove those uncomfortable feelings. From the outside, that looks like laziness, but underneath, it may be a form of self-protection. For some people, the problem isn't effort. It's perfection. They don't avoid work because they don't care. They avoid it because they care too much. A blank page becomes a test, and every test feels like a judgment of who they are. So they delay. Then they feel guilty for delaying. Over time, that cycle starts looking like laziness, but it's really a pattern built from fear, pressure, and shame. And sometimes the problem isn't fear at all. Sometimes it's constant distraction. Your attention is being pulled in every direction. The brain struggles when focus is repeatedly interrupted. Mental energy gets drained long before physical energy does. That doesn't mean you're lazy. It may mean your attention never gets a chance to settle. Focus is not just a skill. It's a resource that can be protected or exhausted. And understanding that changes everything. There's another possibility most people ignore. What if you're not lazy, but exhausted? Stress carries a hidden cost. The longer it lasts, the heavier everything feels. Even simple tasks can start feeling impossible. When your mind is overloaded, action slows down. What looks like laziness can actually be burnout. And burnout is not a character flaw. It's often a signal that something deeper needs attention. By now, a pattern should be appearing. Fear, perfectionism, distraction, burnout. These are very different problems, but they often get labeled with the same word. Laziness sounds simple. The truth is usually more complicated. When you understand the real cause, you stop attacking yourself, and you can finally start solving the actual problem. That realization is where real progress begins. Once you identify the real obstacle, the solution becomes much clearer. Big tasks stop feeling impossible when they're made smaller. Distractions lose power when you create distance from them. Rest becomes useful when exhaustion is the problem. And self-compassion becomes important when fear is involved. The goal isn't to force yourself harder. It's to remove the barriers standing in your way. Because you were never fighting laziness alone. You were fighting something deeper that finally has a name. Most people wait to feel motivated before taking action. But motivation often comes after action. The first step is usually the hardest, not because it's difficult, but because it breaks the cycle of avoidance. Every small action sends a message to your brain. It says, I can do this. And those tiny wins begin to build momentum. Soon, what once felt impossible starts feeling normal. That's how progress quietly changes a life. Here's the breakthrough most people never reach. You cannot solve a problem you don't understand. Calling yourself lazy may feel honest, but sometimes it's actually misleading. Labels explain very little. Understanding explains everything. When you identify the real obstacle, you can finally respond with the right solution. That's when progress stops being a mystery and starts becoming a process you can repeat. So the next time you feel stuck, don't immediately ask, am I lazy? Ask a better question. What is making this hard right now? The answer might be fear. It might be burnout. It might be distraction, pressure, or perfectionism. Whatever it is, understanding it gives you power over it. Because laziness is often not the cause. The moment you stop judging yourself and start understanding yourself, everything can begin to change.